Welcome back to another edition of 15 Minutes With. I'm your host, Sam Dostaler. Today, we are thrilled to be joined by one of Connecticut's newest residents, Shane Bacon. Many golf fans will know Shane from his work on Fox calling USGA events, his podcast with Max Homa, Get a Grip, and now as the co-host of Golf Channel's new show, Golf Today, alongside Damon Hack, Jimmy Roberts, and Anna Whiteley. Shane will also be part of Golf Channel's live from shows at tournaments and do play-by-play along with some additional reporting. Shane, thanks for taking a few minutes and welcome to Connecticut.
Yeah, I played golf yesterday, Sam. So I think I'm officially, I don't know, what do you call Connecticut people? That's what I am. I feel like now I did it. It's 40 degrees. It was blowing. It was cold, but like I'm here.
Yeah, I guess that makes you a nutmegger. We're the nutmeg state, so we're called nutmeggers. So you're an official nutmegger now that you've played in some cold weather. I was going to ask you about that. You came from Phoenix. Have you ever played golf in weather this cold?
You know, I lived in Connecticut. I lived out in Hartford in 2014 for a year for my first TV job. And so, you know, I played a little bit of winter golf back then, but I don't think we ventured out much, maybe a couple of rounds here and there. Yesterday was, you know, it was chilly. I mean, it was sub 40. It was blowing, you know. I mean, I was reminded about what it feels like when you're outside for 2.5 hours or 3 hours. You know, when you walk to your car, it's one thing, but just being out there for that long, I needed hand warmers. That was the one thing I was missing. I needed to have something for the hands. Other than that, I felt like I was pretty locked in.
I did see you weren't as hardy as – you played at Lyman Orchards, which is a great course, and I saw you weren't as hardy as one of the other guys out there, someone out there playing in shorts. I think you posted that to your Instagram story.
Oh, what an animal that guy is.
Right?
I told him, I'd never play you for money. You're way tougher than me. I would never play you for a single dime because, I mean, you're in shorts in that weather. I mean, nothing's going to bother you, obviously. So I don't want to play like a guy like that if he's got a 5-footer to beat me.
No, it's you'll see those folks out here in Connecticut. Some people are just shorts all year round, and I just shake my head at it and put on my sweats.
What is that thing? Because I when I posted that, I got a few people mentioning the same thing as you. Why is that a thing? I'm confused by it. Explain this to me.
You know what? I've been in Connecticut my whole life, and I don't understand it. I like shorts as much as the next person. I'm sure you do too. But if it's cold, I'm putting on those pants and I'm staying warm. It's a head scratcher.
Okay, good. There you go. I was hoping for a deep explanation, but you're just like me.
Just like you. We're talking with Shane Bacon. This is 15 Minutes With here at the Connecticut State Golf Association. So Shane, Golf Channel moving to Connecticut. You're the new host, one of the co-hosts of the new show, Golf Today. How did that all come about? I was reading about it a little bit, and it seems like it all came together rather quickly.
Yeah, you know, I was, you know, that this summer, you know, I was with Fox Sports, and we had the USGA package, and you know, with the pandemic and with COVID and things just shifting around, you know, that went to NBC kind of midsummer, and so I was picking up kind of gigs here and there with little things like the World Feed for the U.S. Open. So I was actually out here at Wingfoot doing that with the USGA, and had a couple conversations on that trip, and that slowly morphed into deeper conversations around the idea of possibly moving out here and getting a chance to do this. And, you know, the moment they offered it to me, I would be a horrible car salesman or anybody in sales. I said yes, basically, as the words were coming out of their mouth. But yeah, I'd say it went pretty quickly. And then you know, you take that job, and occasionally they'll tell you who you're working with, and occasionally they won't. This was one of those cases where I was told, you know, Damon was going to be my co-host 5 days a week. And, you know, I've been lucky enough to hang out, know Damon well over the years, play some golf with him. And it made it just even better. You know, I mean, you're getting this awesome job with Golf Channel, and you're getting all these opportunities. You listed them off, not just, you know, getting to host this, but some other opportunities within the network. And then you get a guy you really, really, truly, genuinely like to work with. I mean, it was just, you know, you talk about cherry on top moments. That was really one of them.
So for people who haven't watched it yet, what can people expect from Golf Today? Because it's moving, it's in the noon time slot. It's a little bit different from the programming that was at Golf Channel before. Now that they're up in Connecticut, they're switching it up a little bit. What can those tuning in look for?
I'd say it's a bit of a bridge, on tournament days. So Damon and I co-host Wednesdays through Sundays. So we get a lot of live golf. Wednesdays feels very set up day where you're preparing people for the week. For instance, this week we've got a whole bunch of golf. We've got European Tour, PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, and the champs are in Hawaii. So there's a lot to touch on in a 2-hour show. And then rolling into the tournament week, it's very much Thursday, first hour will feel very reactionary to what went on. And then that second hour will be setting up for the next day. Interviews, we had Sophia Popov on today, Ray Allen. It's been pretty eclectic with the guests. John Smoltz was on last week, Tony Dungy. That there's been a lot of people in and around sport, not just golf, that have come on the show and have been excellent guests. So it's really a little bit of everything. There's times where Damon and I will talk for 5 or 10 minutes about Tiger's injury or Rory McIlroy's return to golf. Koepka getting back to the microphone, or basically anything Bryson does in the world, because he's become a quote machine. So, I mean, it's a really everything, I'd say, encapsulated in a couple hours of golf. I would say it's two guys that are huge golf fans that love the sport, talking about a sport they love. So, I mean, I think you're going to feel that enthusiasm as you watch.
Talking with Shane Bacon, new co-host on Golf Channel's new show, Golf Today, alongside Damon Hack, Jimmy Roberts, Anna Whiteley. You've had quite the career in golf. You've played a little, caddied a little. Now you're here with Golf Channel. Take us through that a little bit for those who might not have followed your story.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of golf jobs. I've worked in a pro shop. I washed golf carts. I worked outside service at a golf course. I tried to play mini tour golf for a couple of years. That didn't go well, obviously. That's why I'm doing this. And I got into the writing aspect of it. I was a writer in college, and so I got into writing. I worked for Yahoo Sports and CBS Sports and AOL, and that eventually morphed into a TV opportunity, which is where I wanted to get to. I always wanted to be a sports broadcaster since I was a little kid. And so an opportunity opened up in Connecticut. Back Nine Network was a startup at the time back in 2014. So I went there, and that moved me to Fox Sports, and now at Golf Channel. And in between that, I caddied at St. Andrews for a summer when I got out of college, caddied at the old course there. I've caddied for a couple of my friends on the LPGA Tour and a handful of events. So, I mean, it's been cool. I've kind of seen a lot of the different roads that are in and around the sport, not just broadcasting, not just media, not just playing, but I feel like I've kind of dipped my toe in a lot of the pools.
Who did you idolize as a kid, broadcaster wise, while you're watching sports or the news or whatever you might have been taking in?
Yeah, Stuart Scott, I was a huge fan of. Keith Jackson, I always loved. I mean, Nance, early on, I attached myself to. Then a little bit more modern. I think Van Pelt is unbelievable. I love Dan and that crew. Tirico is a legend of broadcasting. And then getting a chance to work so closely with Joe Buck, and watching how good he is up close. He was a pal and somebody that was extremely nice to me early on, as I didn't really know what I was doing, and he was helpful in that world. So that's that list. I mean, I loved Olbermann. I loved Patrick on SportsCenter back in those days, and really, I was one of those kids that would watch SportsCenter basically from when I woke up in the morning until I had to go to school. So, you'd watch that thing roll through about 2 or 3 times till you could basically recite it verbatim. But those were some of the broadcasters that I really kind of idolized as a kid, and then even as an adult.
You mentioned Joe Buck, and he's, of course, done tons of sports, whether it be football, baseball, while Fox had the USGA events. What's something you can learn from someone like Joe Buck? What's something that you take with you from your experiences working with him?
Like his ability to be perfect while seeming calm. I mean, the moment's never too fast. Everything's happening. Something goes wrong behind the scenes that the person watching doesn't know anything about. He just is. He's got this unbelievable ability to slow the broadcast down when he wants to. And I didn't quite understand it when I first started because, I was new to this. And as you watch somebody that, in my opinion, I mean, this is one of the best that's ever done this. As you watch somebody kind of handle the broadcast and really move it in places he wants it to go, you start to understand that you're watching a savant do it. And so that was something that was cool. That I get fast. You know, I'm a fast talker. I'll get really fast when I get excited. And watching Joe slowed me down, and it was something I really needed to watch. And on top of that, just, you know, being prepared, understanding the stuff that matters, and then understanding what your time, where you need to use your time. You know, I don't need to go out on the greens and roll putts because I'm not the analyst. I'm not going to be, you know, talking about that. That was something I would do early on because, you know, I'm working with Brad Faxon, I'm working with Paul Azinger, and they're out there doing that. And I feel like I've got to do that. But then I learned that's not my position. You know, my position is to be the host and you know, call play-by-play. So I learned a lot from him, honestly, just kind of observing him from, you know, arm's length. And if I had questions for him, he would give me honest answers. And that was also something that I appreciated. And, you know, it's something I've learned about the way to kind of treat people. And, you know, if I'm doing this for a while and some 25-year-old kid shows up and he's really good and he's got potential, it's, you know, showing him the ropes and not being intimidated or even, you know, who's this new kid? Why is he here? He was very respectful. He was kind, and he was such a pro at his job. It makes you want to be better at what you're doing.
Your golf journey, as you mentioned, also included caddying, playing on the mini tours a little bit. How do those experiences help you now that you're broadcasting golf, talking about golf? How do those experiences transition and give you maybe some more expertise than some other people might have?
I mean, I think the depth of being out there, you know, trying to play for a living was helpful. Obviously, I mean, I didn't play, you know, Korn Ferry, PJ Tour, or anything like that. But, you know, I had putts that mattered. I had putts to make cuts. I was battling guys that ended up making on the PGA Tour. I mean, Kevin Streelman played on the Gateway Tour when we were out there at the time, just to name one. And then on the caddy side, I mean, my appreciation of what the job of the caddy is and how impactful and important it is for the success of a player grew immensely when I was out there with those professional caddies on the LPGA Tour. I never quite understood how much they do, how many hours they spend on the golf course, how much they work during a round, you know, stepping off hole locations for the next day and just making sure everything in their book is tight each and every day. So I just, you know, it's every little job you can take. If you want to get into broadcasting and you get an opportunity to cut tape or you get an opportunity to run wire. I was a runner for ESPN, you know, my first job out of college. Any of those help you get better at your job because you're seeing other parts of the position. Even though you don't want to end up doing that in per se, you're at least seeing that, you're understanding it, and you're respecting everybody that's out there doing that as well. And so, you know, that was a part of it that I learned is it's so much bigger than 2 people on camera. It's so much bigger than, you know, 12 people in a truck. There are hundreds of people that are putting these events on, and they're all so important to make sure that it runs smoothly.
Let's bring it back to your move to Connecticut a little bit. How's that been going for you? Have you been settling in? I know you moved with the family as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're here. We got an apartment. We, you know, we've had pizza a few times. The pizza's unbelievable here. Been a big fan. 2 thumbs up on that. Like I said, I got a chance to play a little bit of golf. We've learned, you know, where every little city that pops up that you pass by. It hasn't snowed a lot, which has been a bonus as well for people that just moved from Arizona. But yeah, I mean, we're liking it thus far. I mean, it's, you know, we don't have water in AZ, so being so close to the water has been really cool. And then obviously being, you know, this close to New York City when things open up again will be pretty special, especially with a 1.5-year-old son. I mean, getting to take him and see the Christmas tree during the holidays and, you know, take him to the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty. You know, those are things that I never got to do as a kid, you know, growing up in East Texas. So to be a 35-minute train ride away is going to be a really cool thing to kind of show a young person that world, that this is a city that's the city everybody wants to come to at some point.
You mentioned playing golf in Connecticut already. What are your playing plans when the weather gets a little bit better? Now that you're in the state of Connecticut, planning on playing any events? Any must-play courses that you've heard about that you want to get on at some point?
Every course is a must-play course because it's new. So I will play any place. I've got a lot of invites from very nice people on social media. And one of my New Year's resolutions is to say yes to every invite. So I'm going to be very busy once the weather clears. I'm going to try to play and stuff. You know, I mean, if the job allows it, obviously 5 days a week and the time in and out of the studio, it takes a lot to put a show on. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and you want to make sure the shows are great every day. But if there's time to do it, I'll play in. I played in a lot of events last year in Arizona, even with COVID. I mean, a lot were canceled, but I tried to play in as much amateur golf as I could play in, that I could get into, and that the family allowed me to play in. And so I'll probably do something similar. I want to play in the state am if I can qualify for it. I want to play in the 4-ball events. I'd love to see what else is on the schedule, but the older I get, the more interested I am in competing. I love going out and playing with buddies. I love playing for nothing. I love playing for something, but the interest for me is competing and seeing how the work, looks once, somebody shoots that gun off.
We're talking with Shane Bacon. He's the new co-host of Golf Channel's Golf Today alongside Damon Hack, Jimmy Roberts, and Anna Whiteley, also going to do some play-by-play, some additional reporting. He's going to be part of Golf Channel's live from coverage. Shane, I'm going to get you out on this one. Of course, you're just a few weeks into the job with Golf Channel, new things coming your way. But as we look a little bit into the future, golf season starts to pick up. You got the Masters a couple months away. What are you most excited for as this new gig starts to develop itself?
Well, I mean, you're on the channel that golfers come to, and you get a chance to speak on, interview, talk to, get insights from, all these majors. I mean, the PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, huge European Tour events. We talked to, a Sky Sports reporter today at the European Tour, and, we'll get sound in from these press conferences. I mean, I just feel like you're really living these big tournaments. You're really in it, and you're passing on news and information to people at home that are invested, that are golfers, that are golf fans. So I'm just excited about that. I mean, golf is in such a crazy good spot right now with so many, not just young players. I mean, you think about Stuart Sink and Lee Westwood and, Tiger obviously with the injury news, but Tiger at 45, there's players older that are still competing and having great seasons as well. So that mix is what makes the sport so unique, and getting a chance to really be involved in the process of laying that out for the viewer is something that's going to be, to me, a career moment, and, something that I still pinch myself about that, on Masters Wednesday, we're going to have a show with press conferences and interviewing people on the grounds and, getting a deep dive into the golf course and getting historians on. I mean, that's stuff that, thinking about it from a golf perspective, like a viewer or a fan like I am, that's the stuff I would be excited to watch. So, kind of putting your fingerprint on those things is going to be a really, really cool part of the job.
He has been Shane Bacon. Shane, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to join us. Good luck with everything at Golf Channel, and we hope to see you at some of CSGA events down the road.
I hope so as well. I appreciate the time, and keep me updated. I need the information on these things. You got to let me know when the big events are coming around so I can get out there and rub some elbows with some of the players.
Sounds like a plan. He's been Shane Bacon, Golf Channel's new co-host for Golf Today, also play-by-play, Golf Channel's live from, additional reporting. You'll be seeing a lot of them. We're excited to have Shane and the rest of Golf Channel in Connecticut. This has been 15 Minutes with. I've been your host, Sam Dostaler.